Hello everybody and welcome to another Nail Talk Live, the special UK version or English version to inspire you, the nail technician worldwide. And today we're together.
Yes.
And you're going to show us how to create a 3D animal.
Yeah.
Very exciting. What are you going to make?
I'm going to make a leopard, a beautiful leopard, the head of a leopard on a stiletto tip, and using acrylics.
3D acrylics,
Yeah.
colored acrylics.
Colored acrylics and a little bit of master paint. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Can you show us what you're going to make?
Yeah, of course.
Let's have a look. Oh, wow, that really has piercing eyes.
Yeah, I really like
Very
it.
handsome leopard.
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
So this is the end result, but let's begin with the beginning.
Yes.
So I've prepared a tip already.
And what are you going to use as a background? What is the first product that you're going to use?
I'm just going to use a cover acrylic. I'm going to work with the blue liquid acrylic because it tends to harden faster.
Yeah, it cures a little bit faster.
It cures faster, yeah, so that's why. And just for the background, just cover to fill up the background. Even fill it a little bit, leaving a gap for the face of the leopard.
So keeping in mind the outline of the face.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
because you are going to wear this leopard on top of your nail, and if you do your nail like it is supposed to be,
arched.
Yeah, then it's get a little bit high. So
it becomes too bulky.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I leave in a gap.
Yeah.
And that is my outline where I'm going to put my head.
Well, I'm very curious, so let's get started.
Yay.
Let's see what you're doing.
Okay. Take off the lid.
And you're just going to cover the full tip?
Yeah.
Except for the outline of the face?
Yeah. Well, I'm putting a little bit of color over there, so the whole tip is going to be covered, but on top of the head and below the head is more thickness.
Okay. Are you going to use the camouflage color also in your design later on?
No, I'm going to use white acrylic powder because I can see the difference between the background and my...
Okay, so you're going to create the leopard using white acrylics and then later on adding the color on top of that white acrylic?
With my colored acrylic.
Okay.
Yeah, and later on my master paints.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. You had a face that you created more realistic animals?
Yeah, yeah.
It was your animal face?
Yeah, yeah. I've created beautiful elephants. A Buddha I've made.
Yeah.
I really love that Buddha. I love to work with a 3D like this.
And we didn't really show you yet working with 3D acrylics, of course.
No.
But it's wonderful to work with the 3D effects because you're able to really create volume and mass.
Yeah. So I'm now just blending upwards.
Yeah, if you would do this on a client, you would just have a normal nail underneath and perhaps file down the apex a little bit to make it a little bit flatter.
I'm adding, for this background already, a little bit of color. And I'm going to take colored acrylic, the gold.
Yeah?
Not the platinum gold, but the shimmery.
Yeah?
Just to fill in the background, to color in the background already.
Okay.
So like this, and then just a little bit more. But just dab it down.
Yeah, flatten the surface.
Yeah.
So the mix ratio is not really important at this
No.
moment, but we do suggest always to work in a 2-to-1 ratio in order for you to get an even blend. And also to make sure that you don't have really lines of demarcations in between. So you're not. So you still add product in that center place of where the skull of the animal will be, but thinner.
Thin, really thin. Just blend it up and blend it down, like this. So.
Okay.
And then you see that it's on top it's more thick, and over here is just a little bit more bulk.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to add
A little bit of glitter.
on top. Just to play around with the background a little bit more. And adding some shine to my design.
Cool. Less is more, when working with shimmers and colored acrylics. Just build up the effect that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Don't use too much in one try, because then it gets... is it important that the surface of the nail is very smooth when you want to create this design?
Yeah, yeah, it is. So this is the body of my leopard.
The chest of the leopard.
Chest. So more light in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on I can add some more color.
And if you don't have this golden acrylic powder, of course you can mix some chromes through your acrylics to custom create the colors that you want.
Because the leopard I'm going to make, I am going to fill in later on with color, but with use of pigments as well, to get a shimmery leopard. I love shimmer.
Okay.
Okay, maybe just a little bit more gold. So teeny tiny.
Where do you get your inspiration for designs like this? Because are you then going to Google, for instance, different drawings or paintings or photos of leopards in this case, to get the idea of the proportions, or is it pure imagination?
Yeah, I go on Instagram.
Instagram, yeah?
For instance, the elephant I've made
Yeah?
a year ago, I go on Instagram and I look up pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to understand the shape of the head. For the elephant, the long
snout,
nose,
yeah.
But all sides, not just on front, but like this and like this, so I can understand and I really know how the animal is, what is essential for that animal. So for the leopard as well, for the eyes, that it's bigger, that it's wide on top of the eyes. I really want to see pictures and then, lay it next to you when you design. Do you have time? Because I have a paper. Yeah? Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
sure.
Wait.
While you get that piece of paper, perhaps it's fun. This weekend we're going to launch a new collection of gel polishes called Jumping into Spring. Let's have a look at the commercial. So, aren't you excited for those colors? It's really bringing springtime back into your salons, to yourself, and of course later on also to your clients. But these 6 gel polishes are not the only gel polishes that we're launching this weekend. We also have May's Choice, of course Mei Liang, the owner of Magnetic Nail Design. Every year she has her own special pick, her limited edition, and May's Choice 2020 is a beautiful, little bit pink, red, really a cool color. So let's have a look at that color, May's Choice 2020. And it's a limited edition, so you only have to get your chance once. Another cool color that we're launching this weekend is one of the must-have colors of 2020, and that's a beautiful mint green color called Mind Your Mint. Let's check that out. In the meantime, Jessica got her piece of paper in which you're going to show us what you get your inspiration from.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's have
So
a look.
this is from a lesson I have given a year ago with the 3D, and this is step by steps. But these kind of pictures,
Yeah?
what I was telling on Pinterest, I'm looking up these kind of pictures.
So really detailed pictures?
Detail, yeah. I need to understand the animals. So for the eyes, the shape of the head of the elephant,
Yeah.
and different angles. So I really understand that the nose is longer and the nose bridge is wider and then smaller. So this is what I look up and lay it next to me.
So
when I
you're really
design.
searching for the minute details that separate a leopard from a tiger.
Yeah, yeah. And the stripes and how they work.
Mhm.
And the spots with a leopard never are big on around the eyes, but always smaller.
Like
little
freckles
dots.
almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And bigger on the cheeks and on the fur, on the skin,
Yeah.
the body. The spots get bigger. And with
Okay.
tigers, it goes in a pointy towards the nose, pointy
Yeah.
stripes. Yeah.
So you see that she's getting enthusiastic about all of these animals. So, but I'm
I
very
love
curious
animals.
about the leopard. So
Yeah.
you took Prestige white powder,
Yes, I did, and I'm now working with a smaller brush,
the Ultra Designer.
the Ultra Designer, because I love this brush for the finer details. Maybe if you want to take a bigger brush, then do so. Whatever works for you. I'm starting with the outlines of my face. So just small amounts.
So the perimeter, the outside lines of the face.
Yes, and blend that in. So over here is an ear coming, and over here,
Mhm.
like this. And then the chin. Over here.
So you first border the
Yeah,
face.
I'm making a border. Yeah.
An added benefit, of course, of working with white is for it gives good contrast.
Yeah, that's why I really love to work with white. And later on you can give it color.
Yeah. Of course, there are tricks when you work with colored acrylics. One of those tricks is, for instance, that you mix acetone through your liquid to speed up
Yeah.
the curing process.
Yeah.
Especially helpful when it's very cold in your salon, or if you really don't have a lot of time. The different sizes of brushes are important, because a smaller brush, of course, gives a smaller bead of acrylic, a bigger brush, a bigger bead. And later on, I think that you're also going to press down and move the different elements around.
Of course. So,
What's
just
this?
a little
Oh, still
bit.
the head, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it falls off. Then I have the shape correct. Just blend it in. And a little bit over here.
Do you create the whole design using the same brush, the
Yeah.
Ultra Designer,
Yeah.
throughout the whole design?
Yeah, I do. So the ears,
Yeah.
just flatten it out.
Hmm.
But I'm leaving
The edge.
the edge.
Oh,
Leave
yeah.
it out.
So that you get the 3D effect of the ear.
And these ears are a little bit,
Pointy?
no,
Round.
round.
Okay.
Just go in with your brush and take it out. Just soft movements like this.
Yeah, gentle movements, of course, with acrylics. Do you think something like this is also possible to create using, for instance, plastic gels?
Yeah, it is. I've created animals with plastigel.
Okay.
And that's really cool to make. It's different, but it's doable. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And again, with plastigel, you can color that in as well with gel
Would you
polish.
then also create first the base of the face or part
No.
of the? No, not in white.
No. With plastigel, I work with white, but if I make a leopard like this, I
Yeah.
would create with one ball or two balls First the top,
Yeah.
like this, one ball, and then press in the eyes, and then the snout
Okay.
with a double ball. Yeah. Just a little bit flat. So, now I'm going to start with the shape of the eyes. A ball. So this is the nose bridge, and then start with the shape of the eyes.
Oh, you have to make sure that you stay a little bit centered.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. You can press it up. So over here is the arch for the eyes.
So it's the bridge of the nose,
Yeah.
or the snout actually,
Yeah.
going into the forehead and then widening out in almost like a diamond shape.
Yeah.
And that is where you get the eyebrows,
Yeah.
more or less.
So now,
Let's go a little bit more here.
so now a lot.
Yeah, we're really zoomed in, of course, to make sure that we're
Yeah,
able
of
to
course,
see
of
all of the
course.
details.
Adding a little ball,
Yeah.
tap, and go that way to shape the upside
Yeah.
of my eye. Go in and lift it up a bit.
Really creating a crevice,
Yeah.
almost.
Do the same on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So I really work with little balls. You can add more volume later on if you want to, but first it's important to get the shape.
So if you make a design like this, do you practice first, or is it just a one-stroke lock? All in one, let's say.
Yeah. The cheeks, I'm working further.
Yeah.
With most of my designs, it's the first one. Yeah.
So you know your product that well that you know how to create whatever you will make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever happens, it works.
Yeah, not everything, but most of the things, yeah, because I really love to make these kind of designs.
And the first time that you make something like this, how much time do you? Of course, you don't work on it on a tight time frame. I understand, but do you really discover the way you have to build up the design during that playing around with the design, or do you already have some kind of a fixed step-by-step system in your mind that you know, okay, I first have to get here that volume, I have to do this. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand. Well, the first 3D design that I've made was the elephant.
Yeah.
And I just took my white acrylics and just started to build. And I really was interested in the wrinkles
Yeah.
in the nose of the elephant, because it's really just one ball on top of the other, and just flatten it out, and then you get all of the curves in. And I was thinking, yeah, that's possible with acrylics. So this is what is the first thing I've taken to make, and I never did something else. If you do it with colored acrylics, it
bleeds out more.
Yeah, it bleeds out more.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
have the compactness of the white powders.
Yeah, and white, because the contrast is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Okay.
what you're doing. So, the other cheek. Over here, huh? Flatten it out.
Yeah, you begin to see the upper part is coming together now, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see over here, there's a small part, a gap, but you can fill that in. You can fix that. It's not a problem. So the nose. It's a wide nose, huh?
Yeah. While you're working, I'm just enjoying watching what you're doing and thinking, oh, I need to do this as well. You blend it into the head of the bridge of the nose.
Mm-hmm.
You leave it there just a little bit to set up, and that is before you start really pressing on it, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It needs time to set.
Yeah. To come in a kind of pre-cure phase, because then when you start to press on the acrylic, then you are really able to mold it to where towards your desired location. So it's almost like a triangle.
Yeah. Over here, under the nose, there comes that little tiny, well, the real nose. This is just the nose bridge. But first I'm going to make the cheeks, where the whiskers on, the
cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
cheeks, yeah,
well,
cheeks.
lips.
So, one ball.
That looks like quite a big bead, so I'm curious what you're going to do with that.
Like over here, and blend it into, and flatten it out a bit. This is one. On the middle. You see it already?
Yeah.
It has to be round, so press softly.
To keep it round in volume.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Domed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flatten it over here a bit, because the nose is going to be on top.
Mm-hmm.
And this nose bridge is going to get more volume later on.
Yeah.
So it will be, okay. So another bow. This is a funny picture.
Yeah, it looks a little bit off-center, let's put it that way. But of course, when you add the second bead...
Yeah.
Purely the shadows already in the product create really visual... we see already what it will be. Of course, not that detailed, but...
Just blend it in. Then take your brush and make it round. Flatten it out. And now I need the mouth. So over here, just a little ball. Over there, just let it settle a bit. Take your brush and follow. Then take your brush and blend it out to give it a more round mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like this. Now it's more round going in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the little nose. A tiny ball.
Underneath the
nose bridge. Just go to the left.
Oh yeah, of course.
Go to the right. Let it settle a bit. And then go in to create the nostrils. Chook.
Very cool.
And then flatten it out. So now you have, except for the eyes, all of your elements in your face.
Yeah.
And I just leave a little bit more of mount, thickness over for the nose bridge and for the head.
To give it more dimension.
Yeah. So I'm just adding the shape of the eyes, not the real eyes, but little balls. So I know where the eyes are going to be. Just let it settle a bit and blend it in leave it round.
Yeah, I was just thinking I would probably have made it more almond shape, but you want to have the roundness, of course.
Yeah. Because later on I'm going to add some colored acrylics and
Yeah.
master paints, and then you will be amazed because you have all of the
Eye socket.
spaces
Yeah.
in the sockets. And then you can really add the black into it. Like this. Okay, nose bridge, a little bit more.
And a little bit drier as well. Eh? Be careful with your hair.
Oh, sorry.
And of course you want to keep this separated from the little nose.
Yes.
It really needs to have a separation there.
Yeah, and later on I'm going to add with master paints extra details. But in real life you see that the hairs are always growing over
Yeah, of course.
the nose. And you see now that there's more thickness. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And just move it up a bit, like this.
Beautiful.
It's coming, huh? And then, of course, the shape of the forehead. If you see on real life, can I show that? No. It has two different, well, kind of like the balls I did with his mouth.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same. And it really looks odd like this, but look. Blending in. Blending onto my...
Okay, so the two are attached, are blended together.
Yeah, blended together. But I really need this arch on the other side as well. In real life it has. Another ball.
On the other side.
On the
and now
other
we can see
sides.
that as well. So it's like it's frowning
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
An angry frown.
Yeah, well, all of my animals are always looking angry. That's
Oh.
really, really good. Funny, huh?
Well, they're predators. So they're not the sweetest animals, the ones that you're making now.
No, that's true.
So
That's true.
perhaps the elephant is.
Yeah, the elephant wasn't looking as angry as all of the others. And just blend it out. Like this. Now if I'm looking, I can fix this line over here, this gap I had. So a little ball. And it's gone. And watch out that you are going even.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put a ball over here, put it over the other side as well.
To keep the symmetry in the design.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to check if I have everything to color in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit of volume for his cheek over here, just a teeny tiny bit. And then we can color in.
And when you start to color the design in, do you go from light to dark or from dark to light?
From light to dark, yeah.
So you really build up your shadows, your colors.
Mm-hmm. I start with a light color and then go over and even later on use some pigments, and that is really cool. I really love the pigments. And then put some master paints. And it's not really thick on top of a nail.
It's absolutely not thick.
Oké. Alleen het mondje even iets onder.
Just a little bit there underneath the mouth.
And just tap, 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 tap.
Yeah, super cool.
Ja. Oké.
Yeah.
And I can go on. I cannot stop. Do you have the same?
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
It's very difficult when you're creating a design and
yeah.
you're happy with how it goes
Yeah.
to stop working.
It's so difficult to stop.
But while you are finishing all the white elements and take your darker colors,
Yeah.
I asked Yulia Vorobieva from Russia,
Ooh.
she's one of the magnetic trainers, to send in videos every week for Nail Talk Live. Last week she went live showing a beautiful floral design, and she's doing amazing things. So Yulia was very happy that I asked her, and she was willing to send in videos, and this week she sent in a video about a peony rose, and she's going to show us how that works, and I'm going to talk you through this design, because Yulia doesn't speak English, and I know what she's doing, so together we hope we can inspire you even further. So let's have a look at Yulia Vorobieva. So Yulia is going to work with the glass gel polishes. Extreme matte is very important with these designs, and liner gel white. Liner gel white is a beautiful white gel, and she's now showing the opals, crushed opals, and of course finishing everything with Supreme Finish. The first coat is done with glass gel polish blue. This is a dark blue version, and she's just coloring in the natural nail tip, which in this case is a stiletto tip, just as what Jessica is using. And you can see that this already gives a beautiful coverage on the natural tip. When this is cured for 30 seconds, Yulia is going to take some nail art foil, and she's just going to press this on the surface to get shimmering parts in the first layer of the design. Later on, she's going to use these shimmering parts also to create extra depth and optical volume in the design. So she's using two colors, and then she's taking cyan blue, which is the light blue glass gel polish, and she's just covering most of these foil parts with soft, thin applications of the cyan blue glass gel polish. The extreme matte is now used, and this is very important because this will help you to be able to paint on your design later on. Yulia is going to work with very small elements of design. It's very important. When this is cured after 1.5 minutes, using the blue glass gel polish, Yulia is creating the middle part of the peony. So a rounded shape, and in the wet gel polish she's going to add crushed opal parts. These will shimmer and sparkle later on when she's finished the design. So this forms, as I said, the core or the heart of the flower, and needs also a little bit more volume. That is why she's taking cyan blue gel polish and just adding this in between and over the opals to create a kind of a dome effect. And she wants to have that dome effect so that later on, when she builds her flower petals around it, the volume and the form of this dome helps to create the design. After this is cured, using the detailer number 3, which is quite a big brush, Yulia is painting the first petals around the core of the flower. As you can see on screen, she really takes small, gentle movements, pushing the brush down and lifting it up, and she's really working around the core. the rounded part. Partly on top of the dome, partly on top of the nail surface. You can think a little bit like a cauliflower effect. So from one middle part, the petals are almost caressing the middle part of the flower, and now the bigger elements, the bigger petals that fall down from the nail are created. And as you can see with liner gel white, you will get beautiful also lines in your flower petals, really marking the design. Using the cyan blue again, the light blue, she's covering parts of these petals, and with a little bit of the darker blue as well to create depth and shadow in the design. She's covering the flower petals and then blending it out, curing it, adding another coat of extreme matte, and then she's going to start the second layer of flower petals. These petals are a little bit smaller and are following roughly the same direction as the first coats of the first layer of flower petals. Of course, you're following the directions to make sure that visually the flower is really blooming in one direction. It's like it's moving into a diagonal line in this case. Creating around the flower, she's adding these new petals to create more definition. And using the dark blue glass gel polish, she creates shadow underneath the core of the flower. These shadow parts are also pulled over the white petals, as you can see now also with the cyan blue. She's repeating this first step that she did, because this will push these petals a little bit more to the back. So we're really working in layering the design, one layer on top of the other layer, creating thin coats of glass gel polish in between to deepen the effect of the design. Of course, be careful that you don't apply your glass gel polish too thick, because if you do that, then you will lose the definition of the flower petals. And that would be really, that would really not ruin, but it wouldn't be as beautiful. After this is cured, again a coat of extreme matte. The extreme matte really enables you to create beautiful flower petals, and because of the matte surface you will also get the lines of marcations, the little brush strokes of the brush. You'll see that better because the rough extreme matte surface really pulls the liner gel from your brush. Liner gel is a unique product because it really has a lot of pigment, but it feels almost like a paste. As you can see, she's rebuilding around that core of the flower smaller leaves that repeat the same direction just to create more drama. This is really one of the most beautiful floral designs I've ever seen, and Julia Vorobieva is one of the most talented nail technicians I've ever seen, outside of course Jessica, because Julia creates just the most stunning effects. And what is cool of Julia Vorobieva is that she really takes inspiration from the product's possibilities and then alters and changes her designs to fit the possibilities of those products. It's just amazing how she's able to create from this just limited assortment of products. She's only using 2 different glass gel polishes and 1 white gel, and just creates the most stunning designs. She went, by the way, to a smaller brush now, the detailer number 1, to create the smaller elements on the leaves of the flowers and the smaller elements around the core of the flower. You need a smaller brush in order for you to be able to detail everything. And now she's pulling some beautiful lines outside of the design to ground the design to the nail and to create enough visual balance in the design to ensure that the eye really sees that pulled out, amazing looking peony flower. When I first saw this flower, I went at home and I started to play around, trying if I was able to create this, and it didn't work out. So I'm so happy Julia shows us this beautiful work now in this video. The elements are tiny and you can really see the sweeping motions, and now she's taking just a hint of supreme finish on top of that dome containing the crushed opals, and just blends that out a little bit so that it's not going over the origin or the white petals, but it's like completely shining to heighten the contrast between the matte surface, the flower petals, and the deeper laying, darker flower petals. In the whole composition, you can see here beautiful peony flowers made with glass gel polishes, blue and cyan blue, crushed opals, a little bit of foil, and of course extreme matte top gel and liner gel white. Just an amazing design, I have to say. Follow her on Instagram and on Facebook, of course. Wasn't that something?
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
beautiful.
I just love that design. Really. I want to decorate my whole house like that, but I don't have enough liner gel to do that. So, in the meantime, where are we now? What
it's
am I
now
looking at?
time to color. Add some color to the design because, well, everything is done now. But it's a little pale. It looks kind of sick. It needs color.
Yeah, well, it's more a statue now.
Yeah, it is. So I've taken all of the African colors.
Yeah, so we have ochre yellow, we have brown, we have black, and kind of a brown-black color.
Yeah, kind of in the middle, like this. So I'm working like this as well.
Okay.
Going up.
These colors are from the Faces of the World kit. It's a Pro Formula kit, Faces of the World, and it's made specifically to create faces and outlines of humans and of animals.
Yeah. And I have a drop of pigments, copper pigments.
Copper pigment, okay.
From the chrome.
Yeah.
Just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. So I'm just adding some yellow and just go over it.
And you now work a little bit wetter, am I right?
Yeah.
And are you also creating extra relief with these colors, or is it really purely painting?
No, so over here on top of the head, it's more light, so more yellow over here. Then I'm taking the lighter brown and start over here. And then later on, I'm adding shade.
Okay, so first the basic colors, and then later on shadowing.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really a little bit. And if you've noticed that, of course, that it dries too fast, you can just take a little bit extra liquid.
Yeah.
And just clean it off.
Yeah.
To make sure that it doesn't become too bulky. And I
then
see you also take a little bit on the yellow, just to create a little bit of shadowing there.
Yeah. On top of the head, of course. A little bit more brown.
Yeah.
And just follow your design, the ears.
Yeah, cool.
And the inside of the ears, of course.
What helps is that the Faces of the World collection is based on clear powder, and then added on are the pigments in the powder, so that it's already semi-transparent to start with.
That's why I love them.
So it makes it easier to build it up in layers. If it was really an opaque color, then of course you would have to be careful that you don't smudge it too much.
Yeah.
But the blending is easier.
I'm just following.
Little ear again.
And over here, just a little bit, because this is going to be white.
Yeah.
So I've created this
The frown. Then the brown black.
Just a bit. Maybe just first.
Just a little bit extra shadow inside the frown.
And just dab.
Shadows are, in nature, are never really black, eh?
No.
They're always a melange of brown shades. I even think when you are painting, for instance, flowers or anything else, you also always mix the brown shades by mixing the primary colors through and then adding some of the color of the original design.
Yeah.
So in this case, ochre, yellow, brown. So you build your shades using those same tints.
So inside the eyes,
Yeah.
it's going to be dark, huh? And if you think, well, it's a little bit too much, you can just press it more.
Yeah, and lift it
Upwards.
off of the...
Yeah. Okay, inside the eyes.
You're really using tiny, tiny amounts of
tiny
acrylic.
amounts.
So around the white eye.
This eye.
And you're pulling it into a kind of an eyeliner shape towards the nose. So a little bit not pointed because it's not pointed. It's more, yeah, the almond shape.
Yeah. And you can even leave this and do this only with your master paints later on, if you think, well, it's really tiny. And your eye, ooh, let's take some gold. This is
Okay,
cool.
yeah.
To make the eye.
She gets inspired just working here.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's take some gold. On the
I
eye.
think that is going to be really cool.
It makes a big difference.
Because the eyes of a leopard are always, well, the light.
Yeah, iridescent.
Yeah. And because of the shimmers in these golds, I think it's going to be really red. Just paint it in.
Of course, be careful not to take too much and take the correct type of gold. Because if it's a really coarse glitter gold, I don't think that would really be appropriate for this. You have to have a very fine, shimmering
Pigments. I think that's really red.
You just should mix and match, because sometimes what works with this product won't work with that product. Sometimes the differences can be tiny but make a huge difference in the end result. You have to know your product. Here again we have the shadows inside the sockets of the eyes. And is this a male or a female leopard?
I think this is, again, a male.
Oh, okay.
Because it really is looking angry already. Okay, then a little bit of shade.
Mm-hmm.
Next to the nose.
Yeah.
And it needs a little bit of shade under the nose.
I think it's important that we also go to top shot, but your hair is in the way and you're not in the middle. But I think we have to have a close look now at what we see, because we can really see well, it's not that angry. It's a happy leopard, a little happy leopard.
Okay. Blended.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, I'm going to do this again with my master paints.
Yeah. So the master paints is a whole technique in itself.
Yeah, I love master paints.
I love master paints as well.
Yeah.
But do you think that the small details, would you be able to create that same effect working only with colored acrylics, or is it really a necessity?
I couldn't. I need master paints. You?
Well, I think I need master paints as well. Or liner gel black.
Or liner gel black, yeah. So, the nose needs to be a little bit more brown. So I'm just adding.
That's a brown nose, yes.
Yeah, but I'm just blending it upwards.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit more color. I love this brown color.
It's really pretty.
So, and I need that brown color over here a bit, and over here. So now you can add some shade underneath the head. This is black.
Mm-hmm.
And just follow the heads.
Well, I think that while Jessica is ending everything with the colored acrylics, of course you are working already, I mentioned them earlier with Julia also, the liner gels, but did you know that we also have liner gels in gold and in silver? We have a little commercial to show you gold and silver liner gels. Let's check that out. So, in the meantime, Jessica already went through with her design and continued her design. You already created half of the face with Master Detailer and the Master Paints.
Yes.
So let's have a look at where you are now. Oh yeah. So first, the unpainted side.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, that's a big difference. And then the painted side. You would almost do something like this. Like first, unpainted, painted. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're using Master Paints black and white.
Yeah. Ooh, I
For
know a
this?
song about that. Yeah. And then with my Master Detailer, just add sharper details. So first with the black, fill in all of the eye sockets.
Yeah.
I've made my pupil already.
Yeah.
Just
Also with Master Paint, huh?
with Master Paint. And because of the shimmers underneath, it's
Mhm.
really cool. And then the spots.
Yeah, and the spots are of course not even.
No. And that is, well, that's more easy then, huh?
Yeah, well, for some it is.
Yeah, well, leopard's spots,
Yeah?
I always found really difficult because I tend to think about the spots.
Yeah?
And then I'm like, oh, what spot now?
Mm-hmm.
Just do. And it looks awesome already. Just by adding a few dots. Tiny dots. Like this.
And how would you protect the painted parts of the nail? Would you add, for instance, extreme matte top gel over it? Or because I guess you want to maintain the matte effect.
Yeah. The extreme matte top gel. I really love that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, bigger spots for its body. Like this.
Yeah.
Now, go back in for the eye.
You're deepening the shadow.
Yeah.
The master detail is really your favorite brush, isn't it?
Yeah, if I work with master paints, yeah, I cannot do without this brush. If there's a fire in my house, this is one of the first things that I take. Well, my children first, of course,
Yeah,
and then my
yeah.
husband, and then,
Yeah. And then the master paint,
You
the master
understand me.
detailer.
Just add a little bit of shade under the nose and into the mouth.
This also gives the contrast, of course, to the nail, so it gives it more. Oh, what do you do when that happens? Just remove it.
Just remove it.
So
Not a
keep
problem.
calm.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Like this. Okay, then you see
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
and white whiskers
Yeah.
and white
Ear
hairs
hair.
in the ear, and of course the highlight
Yeah.
in its eye. So, take my white. Like this.
Mm-hmm.
The whiskers. Of course, I needed the black spots underneath, but I can add it later on. And over here. That's difficult.
Yeah, it is.
It's showable, huh?
What did you say?
It's showable.
Yeah. I'm checking it out. I'm totally mesmerized by what you're doing.
So, wipe off your brush,
Yeah.
then take a little bit of black, because I need shade over
The
the
white.
hairs. Just a teeny tiny bit.
It gives the impression that it really comes out of the ear.
Yeah. And I forgot that, but I can add.
Tiny little thingies.
Yeah. Maybe some shade. Just blend it out a bit. To give it more, that it goes to the background.
Mm-hmm.
And then, black line,
A black eyeliner.
yeah, underneath the white line. We'll pop it out more. And then, because this is wet,
Mm-hmm.
just going to, because now it's dry, I can make the hairs over here as well. And I
then, of
really
course-
go
Yeah.
from one curved side
Yeah.
to the middle, other curved side. So you give the more round feeling. And then the highlight, of course,
The highlight in the eye.
in the eye. And if you really look closely, that my eye is shiny already, this
Mhm.
one,
Yeah.
I do that with a drop of UV top gel.
Because it is it has a higher viscosity, so it's a little bit thicker, so that you're able to work. What did you see? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
If you see, because I went over this and I saw that it's not really black on the upside of the eye. This is the problem. I can never stop.
No,
Like
I can
this.
relate to that.
Okay, now it's good. Yeah. Okay. Detailer 3. Take a bowl.
Little drop.
See if it's even. And now you can.
Super cool.
Yeah, it is. Huh? Okay.
And then, of course, you can finish it different ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go back to the
This
first
one-
one that you showed us when we started this evening.
I've finished off with the extreme matte top gel.
That gives it the velour effect
Yeah,
almost.
I really love it. And if you have more, then just make some leaves and strass and
Add the color pop to the design.
yeah.
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 Super cool. Unbelievable. Very cool work. I think this was a Nail Talk Live full of inspiration. So enjoy playing around with your acrylics. Take inspiration from Jessica. If you're more into painting with gel, then of course take your inspiration from Julia Vorobieva. And yeah.
Well, either way, have fun.
Yeah, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.